Who you going with for the Jags?
Well, I think this is a situation where, we might see I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another trade down here. I think the Jags are movers in either direction. They could trade up, they could trade down. They already have 2 first-round picks, but this is a roster that has a lot of holes that need to be filled. They've kind of shedded talent over the last year. Yannick Ngakoue looks like he's on the way out. Jalen Ramsey on the way out. Telvin Smith, on the way out. So, it's tough to say because I don't see a great alignment of position and need here. But I could lock it in. I could see them going with Javon Kinlaw here.
What?
A little early off the board for him, maybe.
Interesting.
But I feel like they're worried about the defense here. I think I'm not. I think again, going wide receiver kind of makes I'm kind of surprised teams haven't leapt off the board for a wide receiver yet, but I think that's going to happen in our next few picks.
Yeah.
But just with the guys they have in that room, I think they're just looking for more pieces here.
My thoughts on Jacksonville is that they are just bad, and so they should take best player available regardless of position.
That's a good point.
They are in full rebuild, so positional need shouldn't play a part at all.
I think this is also a situation where I personally like Javon Kinlaw a lot more than
the Tristan Wirfs.
So I'm hell yeah, let's just fill it with the next best D-line.
Absolutely.
The guy really liked Javon Kinlaw, get him in there.
Absolutely.
Especially because that'll let some of these wide receivers and tackles flow down to other teams that want them in the next handful of picks.
Can you talk about Javon Kinlaw for a minute while I pee?
Yeah, so Javon Kinlaw's a big dude. He's let's see, let me bring up his 6'5", 324. So versatile, long, strong, kind of another one of those guys that can make pressure, up the middle. Different, actually almost exactly the same size as Derek Brown. But if you look at Javon Kinlaw, he's got a slimmer build. So more of a arm-based shove strength than a full body kind of plow like Derek Brown is. The Jags drafted Taven Bryan in the first round a couple years ago, a guy that I liked coming out, but he kind of hasn't really lived up to first round billing. Been a fine role player for him. But yeah, I see this as being a way for them to kind of heal the departure of some of those defensive pieces, Telvin Smith and Yannick Ngakoue up the middle. I could see them taking a corner here, although I think it's still a little bit early to take C.J. Henderson. Not a big fan of him. And actually, we can see, C.J. Henderson in is that? No, because that would be an offensive guy. Anyway, C.J. Henderson in Florida in this highlight right here. Jacksonville's really a team that has a lot of holes in a lot of different positions. I could see them taking really anyone here. I think them more than anyone, it's all bets are off, all positions are open. Like we said before, tackle and wide receiver seems to be a hot zone around this 9 pick, but I see them going defense with Javon Kinlaw. His wingspan is almost 84 inches, which is 6'10". So he's a long boy. So why he could rise, he's a long, versatile disruptor with a combination of power and athleticism. He can use his quickness to shoot gaps and strength to overpower the linemen in front of him. So, disruptor. Every now and then he'll slip through you, make a play, and he'll be a tough guy to battle with that O-line all game long. Why he could fall, he loses ground against some double teams and sometimes gets washed out of the play. He'll occasionally overrun the action or lose track of the ball carrier. So, Jacksonville doesn't seem like one of those teams that's we need all our guys to be super disciplined all the time. So, this is a situation where maybe they are looking at the ceiling and at the positives rather than the negatives here. I think he'd be a good fit for them there. They have another pick later on in the first round, around pick 20. We'll get to that in a little bit, but that could be a good pick later.
All right,
I
am back.
A cornerback. Cool.
I can't hear anything yet, but I am back. Okay, now I can hear stuff and I'm back. Thank you so much. I had to get myself some coffee as well. I noticed that Maddie made more coffee.
That's good. I just like Javon Kinlaw, dude.
Dude, he's fun.
Guy rushing right up the middle. Like, he's like a finesse tackle, even though he's huge. You know?
Agreed.
So
I think Chris Jones is the comp I see most for him, and it feels like a very accurate one. Like, sometimes comps are crap, and sometimes they're right on, and this one feels like one where it's right on the money.
Cool.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's
keep it moving. Keep it moving. I want to make sure that we have enough time to talk about everyone that comes off the board.
All right, so I have I have the Browns going. This is one where I don't think this is necessarily how stuff is going to roll, but here's my argument for it. The Cleveland Browns, I have taking Josh Jones, tackle out of Houston. Here is my reason. Josh Jones.
And so here's why this might be surprising, just to set the scene for why I'm surprised by your pick, is that I've just seen him be more like the fifth, maybe sixth tackle off the board instead of the third.
So actually, I'm going Tristan Wirfs because I forgot we haven't taken Tristan Wirfs yet. So let's check out Tristan Wirfs. So my argument because that's where I have him going in mine. Is I have him going to Cleveland because Wirfs and Thomas are already off the board. I
hope Tristan Wirfs is bad so we can call him Wirfsless.
I'm on board with that. So my reason for it was just that analytics guys love Josh Jones, like adore him, consider him the third best tackle in the class. And Cleveland is run by the analytics boys now. Paul DePodesta. Yeah. Jonah Hill finally got his own room, baby.
Yeah, dude.
All right. So, yeah, you didn't miss the Packers yet, Seth. We're not there at all. So this is Tristan Wirfs jumping out of the pool. No,
is it Tristan Wirfs or is it this Brendan Myers
Brendan
guy?
Myers. What the fuck? What the fuck, Brendan Myers? No one cares about you. Where's Tristan Wirfs jumping out of the pool?
I don't see any Tristan Wirfs jumping. Okay, but I can imagine Tristan Wirfs jumping out of the pool.
Yeah, that sucks, though. There was... Mina Kimes was talking about, have you seen Tristan Wirfs jump out of the pool? It was very tight. If you can find it, let me know. In the meantime, Tristan...
okay, it's on Twitter.
Is it? All right.
Okay, here. How should I send? Can I send you a link in Discord or?
No, I'm not on there. But if you found it that easily, I'm just gonna not.
Yeah, just search it on Google. It'll be right there.
Yep. Goddamn. Yeah. It's just wild. Yeah, so basically it's like he is
That is 42 inches.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And with that much like mass and resistance against the yeah, it's just crazy. There's a guy, I don't remember his name, but he puts out a list of, it's called like the Freak List each year, and it's like true athletic outliers, and I believe Tristan Wirfs is number 1. I think it goes Tristan Wirfs and then Isaiah Simmons.
Wirfs was an Iowa State champion in the discus as a sophomore.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just wild.
I found an article that's why Tristan Wirfs is my number 1 football player. And this is going into last college season. This guy was like, Tristan Wirfs is going to be the number 1 player this season.
Who is he?
And he wasn't off by much. He's a top 10 player. So
yeah.
Guy out of Iowa, you know, always those good corn-fed, well-coached run blockers, pass blockers, you know.
From everything that I read, again, I don't pretend to be able to scout O-line play super well. From everything that I read, he is just like has excellent form and is very, very good at his job and is also an athletic freak. He is everyone, a lot of people are talking about him as like a generational prospect of Andrew Thomas has, I think, slightly cleaner tape, so he might be like the higher floor. But from what I understand, Tristan Wirfs has potential to be like a Walter Jones level, just like Walter Jones, Joe Thomas, just like, oh, you plug him in and he is a Pro Bowl player for you for a decade.
Okay, so I've pulled up some of his combine stats and stuff here. So he is an okay size grade. He's in the 79th percentile for weight. So he's pretty heavy, but he's not as tall. He's only in the 31st percentile. So at 6'4". Okay. So he's not tiny, but like for a tackle, he's bigger than he is tall. Okay.
Yeah.
He is almost to the 100th percentile in terms of explosion, so vertical jump and broad jump, and almost to the 100th percentile for 40-yard dash. So he can jump.
Yeah, he ran I think he ran a 4.84.
Yeah, I have 4.85 here, but yeah. So his overall athletic score, he's in the 97th percentile of all tackle prospects ever.
Damn. He has like half of all the weight room records at Iowa. Like he's just a freak. That's all I got to say about him because O tackles aren't that interesting. You got anything?
And I think we can kind of lock in, and in my mind, lock in a top offensive lineman for the Browns with one of their top
if they
picks.
are here still. Yes.
Right. I could see them trading down. Trying to play the money ball, get more lottery tickets.
Yeah.
But it certainly seems like that's a clear need for them.
Yeah, it's just like they have to fix their original sin. Like they gave up Babe Ruth and they have to bring back Babe Ruth. You know what I mean? They were like, why were they potentially good last year? Their O-line, and they're like, what if we just got rid of our best O-line piece? Will everything work the same? And it turns out no.
I could see Denver or Atlanta having their eyes on an elite offensive or defensive player and trying to leapfrog like the Jets and Raiders and Niners to get up to 10. Yeah. And then, Cleveland drops back to 16, still gets a tackle, whether it's Wirfs or Becton or one of these guys.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Who knows?
Alrighty. Who you got going to the Jets?
The New York Football Jets. Okay, so the Jets have Sam Darnold. Jury's still out on him. I'm kind of a Sam Darnold hater. You're sort of a Sam Darnold believer.
I'm not. I wouldn't call myself a stan, but I err on the side of him being okay.
Sure. They let Robbie Anderson walk this offseason.
Absolutely.
He went down to Carolina, got $10 million a year. So I kind of think that the board has fallen nicely where I keep saying, I'm surprised no team's taken a wide receiver yet. Well, here we have a team that's in need of a wide receiver. No receivers are off the board. I'm going to say that the Jets select CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma.
Yup. I have him going to them as well. And I have the same note for him and for the Raiders, and the note is just round peg, round hole.
Yeah.
Just like, obvious need, obvious solution.
Yeah, in my first mock draft, just my first pass mock draft, I actually had the Chargers taking CeeDee Lamb at 6, but I think I'm trying to force the early wide receiver thing. I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, if they did, they'd have a V-fun offense to watch when Tyrod Taylor was not in the dirt.
Yeah. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, when we watched clips of this guy, it's like he just then gets the ball. Like, whether it's through his route, whether it's by high pointing it, whether it's, with the physical play at the point of the catch, whether it's because he can catch the ball and then immediately start running the other direction. Like, this is just a guy who has, like, smart, efficient movement and body control. And I think at the pro level, it's going to translate well because he's not relying on just burning speed or just jukes to get around people. He's going to be able to squirt into holes, find, an extra 5 yards at the end of catches here and there. And I think that's going to be really effective for him, especially in an offense with Sam Darnold, who's more of like a ball delivery man than like a let's gun it out, air it out for you kind of thing.
Yeah. He seems hyper competitive to me as well. Like, even for football players, you will regularly see in his highlight reel him catch the ball and get tackled pretty quickly, and he will immediately begin barking at another wide receiver as if that wide receiver should have been blocking that defender. And it's like, maybe that was the case, but also that other wide receiver was just running a route, so it's like a little bit wild to be like, hey, you should have not been focused on your route. You should have been like creating a pick for me so I could have gotten yards after the catch.
Right.
But honestly, I sort of like it.
You can't just have hyper awareness by every single player on the field all the time.
Yeah. Agreed. I have CeeDee Lamb going here as well. I think it's a good pick. You got anything else there?
Barbecue Seth says, I think Jets go Becton in this scenario.
Interesting.
I did see Becton as like a high value player to take here, but I just saw the value and everything line up. So who do they have? They have George Fant and Chuma Edoga as their tackles. I don't know how good they are. Maybe they need O-line help. It's not one of their top needs on the Ringer draft board, but I think getting a top tackle is not a bad idea for any team. Yeah. So I could see Becton going here too, but I think CeeDee Lamb.
I will also say that, like, you know me, I love the Ringer. I'm a big Ringer stan. Would love to work there at some point. This board, I think, is their draft needs. I think I found them a couple times to be a little lacking, so I don't necessarily consider this the final word on team needs. Yeah. I think it was maybe written in February or March and has not been totally updated. I don't know. I think Becton might make sense. The PFF guys are pretty harsh on Becton. They are not huge Becton believers.
Okay. The New York Jets by PFF have the 28th ranked offensive line. So
they need
because Le'Veon Bell had career low yards per carry, a lot of pressures on Darnold. So sorry to interrupt, but it does seem like O-line might be a need for the Jets here. So I don't think that's too far off.
Yeah. I will say they have like nothing in the receiver room. They have like 4 empty chairs. They're currently looking at starting on Sunday.
Quincy Enunwa? Wait, let me see.
I genuinely don't know.
So it's Jamison Crowder, Rashad Perriman, Quincy Enunwa, and Josh Doxson.
Perriman is decent, isn't he?
Perriman's good, but he's not a 1.
Right.
He was great as a 3 on the Bucks last year.
Right.
Really kind of rose to the occasion, but we'll see.
A note on Becton. PFF is pretty harsh on him. Basically, they're like, he almost never had to pass protect because they ran such an RPO heavy scheme, and when he did have to pass protect, he lost. So it's like, the numbers are not kind to his potential as a left tackle.
Sure.
Which is a shame because he's giant, and I would really like to watch him be good. Cool. I think CeeDee Lamb's a reasonable pick. I think O-line would be a reasonable pick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have...
Can you keep it moving?
Yeah. For the newly founded Las Vegas Raiders, and I hate to say this, but I think it's going to make a lot of sense. They're going Jerry Jeudy.
Yep.
I don't want to see it. I don't want Jerry Jeudy to tear up my secondary several times a year, but Jerry Jeudy I think is going to be very good. I think they need offensive weapons, specifically at the wide receiver position. I just think same thing, round peg, round hole. He's just going to be good.
I could see him taking a couple of Derek Carr slants to the distance, Yeah. Here's a guy who's like maybe more of like a running, like on his feet threat than CeeDee Lamb, whereas CeeDee Lamb is a more like at the point of catch kind of guy. Jerry Jeudy runs nice crisp routes, able to make the catch a lot. Doesn't have quite the like insane 100% ridiculous focus catches that CeeDee Lamb does, but like certainly hands aren't a problem. He's the number 2 wide receiver for a reason, or among the top 3 wide receivers for a reason.
Right.
With Tua throwing him the ball, he was able to go up and catch those balls up out of the air. So, this is just a team that needs, they need a little bit of flash. They need a little bit of sizzle. They need some exciting players in the new arena. So, I think that's a good pick. I think that's a smart pick.
Yeah. I think if there's any concerns about him, it's just that he is like toothpick thin. So it's like, how is he going to hold up with press coverage? I I don't think they're going to get their hands on him for this exact reason. Watch this play. This play, I think, is a really good example of why I'm not crazy worried about press coverage. So this is press coverage, and it's not an NFL caliber QB, probably. So, like, it's not like he's going up against, like, a Darrelle Revis clone or anything. But watch, his feet are so fast, the guy starts to get his hands on him and then has to try and catch up with him. He literally gets tossed to the ground. And then stops on a dime, slips on the guy. Like, it's like, I'm not crazy worried about press coverage. Yeah. I think it will stop him dead in his tracks sometimes. I think he'll learn. I think he'll adjust. He's a ridiculous athlete. I don't believe his cone numbers from the combine. His shuttle cone numbers are bad. They're, like, actively bad. They're in, like, the 40th percentile over, like, all wide receivers over time. But if you look at all prospects' cone numbers, they were, like, all bad for this year. And it's apparently they changed the schedule of everything, so it's, like, times are skewed compared to... it's not the exact same schedule, so people were doing things in different orders. They didn't have the same energy levels at doing different exercises.
Yeah, dude.
It's like
one of those things where like West Coast teams playing at like 10 a.m. Pacific like play worse. It's like that should not be in the schedule ever. Like you're just scheduling teams at a disadvantage. So
yeah, and it's like if you just watch him move, he has made like. I would be shocked if those are representative of his actual shuttle numbers because he has maybe the fastest feet I've ever seen. It's just truly crazy. Yeah. I'm hoping...
Wide receivers for the Raiders right now, Tyrell Williams, Hunter Renfrow, Nelson Aguilar. So, like...
Yeah. They need a got some
bodies. No one's leaping out to me as a wide receiver one. Maybe Jerry Jeudy can step in and make something happen there. Helping out Derek Carr, who's had kind of an up-and-down career, sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty.